Hey guys, it's Sarah. I am back with my 8-week update for pregnancy with triplets. We had an ultrasound yesterday morning and, cut to the chase. Everyone is doing well. All 3 heartbeats were very strong and they are all growing around the same rate and they're all right on track with how big they should be. So I guess I'll talk about that first. I was nervous, of course, because I know that things can go wrong in the first 12 weeks, and our ultrasound tech is really good because she always just goes, throw all 3 in there, like as soon as she starts the ultrasound. So all 3 are in there. Their amniotic sacs had grown a lot, and the babies themselves had tripled in size. So whereas they were about 5 millimeters just 10 days ago, they were 15 millimeters yesterday morning, and their heart rates had all gone up. So that all went really well. Oh, and the other thing was the ultrasound tech could not find my subchorionic bleed. I think sometimes it's called either a subchorionic hemorrhage or hematoma. I think it's called both, but Mandy will correct me. So they couldn't find that. That was good news. So in 10 days that had resolved itself. Then we had a consultation immediately following, and if you'll recall, 10 days ago our consultation was very strange to me because this was such shocking news and it put us in a high-risk category. So the doctor did not want to influence our next decisions with her opinions or her feelings. So she literally was kind of just a sounding board. And that just made me feel really weird because I'm always looking to my doctors to see if they're happy or not happy about my progress and the baby's progress. So this week when she came in, I wasn't crying for one thing. And my husband and I had the pictures all spread out and we were looking at them, and when she came in I was smiling. I was like, hi. She just sat down and goes, well, everything looks really, really good. They're just beautiful. Their size is exactly as they should be. Their heart rates are really great. So she actually said she does want to see us back one more time before we move on to the high risk group. And that made me happy too because I really like this doctor. And I promised Sarah of Sarah Loves Peter that I would do a video talking about my clinic, and I think I'm going to do that very soon. But since we have one more consultation with her, I think I would like to wait for that to be over, and then that would be the end of our experience with that office, and so I could just really do a good job of talking about them. I asked a few questions about this high risk group, and I asked if they were going to address nutrition because, let me just show you this book. If you're friends with me on Facebook or Instagram, you might have seen a photo of this book. It's When You're Expecting Twins, Triplets, or Quads by Dr. Barbara Luke and Tamara Eberlein. But this is a very famous book for people who are expecting multiples. And the first thing I did was look for the chapters on nutrition because I know getting their birth weight up is the best thing that I can do for their health and to get them home sooner with me, less time in the NICU. And this book scared the crap out of me. I'm not kidding. I don't know if anyone has ever read this, but the way the information is relayed to you is through a lot of excerpts of previous patients and their experiences and what Dr. Luke told them to do. And so basically I was reading, eat at least 5 times a day. Fine, I've been doing at least 5 times a day. And it said that carrot sticks don't count as a snack. What? Yes, they do. They're totally healthy and nutritious. But basically in her program, a snack is not a snack unless it has both protein and fiber. And just because something doesn't have protein to me doesn't mean that it's not a snack. I know that protein is important, and I would say maybe every other snack that I have will have protein, but it made me go from what I've been doing, which I think is very healthy, whoops, sorry, to thinking that I had to eat like a pig. And to get the calories and the protein, people were saying, I had a milkshake every day. Well, I'm sorry, I just don't think that's healthy, and I don't think that's the best way. I mean, yeah, that's a way to fatten myself up, and yes, the more weight I gain, the more weight the babies gain, but I just feel like there's got to be a healthier way to do that. And this book recommended that I drink a quart of milk a day. A fucking day. And a gallon of water a day. What? That is twice the recommended daily value for a normal person. I agree, I should be having between 60 and 90 ounces of fluid. I could see that. But unless I read that incorrectly, I should have a gallon of water a day and a quart of milk a day. And I don't know if one counts toward the other. So I got really stressed out by that book. I will continue to read it, and just like any book, you should only take out of it what is useful to you. But I brought that up in the consultation, and she was like, no. Hey, I wanted to tell you what the doctor said about that book. She didn't say that she specifically knew exactly what was in the book, but she did say drinking that much fluid was not really the best for me, that as long as my urine is pale yellow, and I am urinating, then everything is fine. I don't need to be drinking more than what it takes to achieve that. Sorry about that. That was my mom calling because she found a baby names book for $3. So, sure. Yeah, so nutrition. I'm just going to listen to whatever the high-risk nutritionist tells me to do, because they will assign a nutritionist to us. They will also assign a lactation consultant, and I'm happy to hear that too, because I'm one of those people, I always wanted to experience breastfeeding, and I was really going to try to tandem feed if we were going to have two, and I'm not super mom. I know that. I'm not super woman, so I'm not going to be like this photo I saw online of this woman tandem feeding two of the triplets and then bottle feeding the third with her arm. I mean, I don't think I could keep up with that. But especially since they will be in the NICU when they're born, I will probably have to exclusively pump, and we will bottle feed them. I don't know. But we'll see. But I know that that whole journey, that whole experience will be totally different with triplets than it would be with a singleton. So I was happy to hear that we would have a consultant for that too. Anyway, I mean, everything's looking really good, so I'll just show you pictures real quick. But we start right off with baby A. Measuring 14.9 millimeters, so darn near 15. Heart rate of 180, so that's what this middle photo is. Baby B, 15.3 millimeters, and is that right? Sometimes they give me extra photos. Anyway, this is baby B again, and then heart rate of 175. And then here's baby C, 14.9 millimeters, and a heart rate of 174. There's baby C again. And then this is gonna get more and more difficult to achieve, but here's a photo of all three of them together. And I seriously, if I move closer, it's just gonna get blurry because I don't know how to do autofocus. Anyway, there's all three of them. That's just insanity. So I am doing we'll talk about how I'm doing this week. I am a lot better than last week. Am I still nervous? Of course, because if I said I wasn't, I'd be a liar and I'd be crazy, because there are a lot of risks with carrying triplets. I can't even imagine carrying quads. So, what I did after recording my video was I immediately found this book. So I immediately found this book, so at least I felt like I was doing something. But the very first comment on my video was so amazing. She recommended that I look up Hypnobabies, and if you don't know anything about Hypnobabies, it's basically a program for preparing for delivery for a singleton, or even probably twins, but once you get to triplets, you are almost guaranteed a C-section. In fact, I don't know that I've ever heard of anyone delivering triplets vaginally. So the actual Hypnobabies program is not why they sent me there. They sent me there because there was sort of a hypnotherapy for carrying multiples. And I did go to that website. I didn't really care for it because it was difficult to navigate the website, and I just want something that I can put on my iPhone. And I noticed that they didn't have iPhone compatible MP3s. But it gave me the idea to go looking for something like that. And so what I found on iTunes was called Hypnosis for Twin and Multiple Pregnancy. And the entire album has 4 tracks. The beginning is just an introduction. It tells you how to use the album. Track 2 is my favorite, and it is daily affirmations for twins and multiples. So I listen to this in my car every morning, and sometimes when I'm at work, I'll listen to it with my headphones, because I can't control what happens to these babies. I can't control this pregnancy at all. I can do my best, but the outcome will still be what it is. So there's no point in being negative through this process, because what I'm going to do is rob myself of the experience of being pregnant. Yes, it's going to be very, very different, but I'm also not going to know any better. I don't have any kids. I've never been pregnant with a singleton. So whatever aches and pains and trials and tribulations I go through are just going to be what's normal for me, because I'm not going to know any better. So I want to enjoy this pregnancy. It's going to be the only pregnancy I get. I know that. So why waste my time with negative thoughts? So these daily affirmations just have you don't have to repeat them, but sometimes I do. But it's basically statements like, my favorite is probably, I will only notice and accept positive messages about multiple pregnancies. My cervix will remain firmly closed until my babies are ready to be born. My body knows how to carry my babies to full term. My babies know exactly the right time to be born. And it sounds silly, when you're hearing it for the first time, but if you listen to that over and over again, and what I have found is you can repeat it verbatim, but I sometimes just paraphrase it using my own words. Like one of them is, all of my bodily functions will remain healthy for the stage of pregnancy that I am in now. And so I say, I will poop every day and it will be comfortable. So anyway, it really works, because you can teach yourself to flood your mind with positive thoughts, and there's just no room for the negative ones anymore. I wanted to read you the name of the woman too. It's by Bree Taylor Molyneaux, Molyneaux. She is an Australian hypnotherapist. Now, hypnotherapy is not what you see in a bar where people are drinking and then they go up there and somebody makes them cluck like a chicken. That is not hypnotherapy. That is sideshow Bob crap. Hypnotherapy is just where you put your mind and body into such a relaxed state that you can kind of accept things directly to your subconscious. And so they even say if you fall asleep while listening to a hypnotherapy session, it's still working. I've been listening to hypnotherapy sessions of any variety for like 5 years, 5 or 6 years, because I used to have trouble falling asleep. And I found a man by the name of Andrew Johnson. I'm not kidding. And he had a very famous app just called Andrew Johnson's Relax, I think. And I ended up buying almost every app he provided. And so there's one other app I wanted to talk about. And it's one of his, and it's just simply called Pregnancy. Yeah, because when you open this up, it doesn't give you the name. But if you did a search on iTunes for Andrew Johnson Pregnancy, it's it's designed for someone expecting a singleton, which is why I was excited, to be reminded to go look for something for multiples. But it's still very good. They say similar things like, my body knows what it's doing. You have to relax. Women were having babies, well, since the beginning of the human race, so it's really not like I can't do this or what's going to happen to me is going to be so crazy unique. God, I'm sorry I am talking a lot. I definitely am going to start making videos more often because it helps me. It helps me have an outlet, and my mind is just going freaking crazy right now. And I think my pregnancy is going to be like really condensed. Basically what I have heard is I have to be ready for these babies by week 20. That's half the time of a normal couple. So I've got to have a nursery ready by week 20. I've got to have as many diapers as I'm going to have. And I have to be ready for bed rest by week 20. So it's going to be very different than a pregnancy with a singleton. Duh. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Anyway, I'm talking way too much. And I will see you guys again next week because I have another ultrasound. But maybe I'll see you before then because I would like to talk about a lot of things. Okay, bye.